Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pageant Project. My next guest is the current Miss Texas volunteer, Amanda. How do I pronounce your surname? I forgot to ask. We've been talking for a while. Higginbotham?
Now your punishment, you have to say it. What was your attempt at it?
Higginbotham.
That was a valiant attempt. Higginbotham.
I was going to say it's either Higginbotham or Higginbotham. Anyway, everyone ignored that. I just made a mistake. My next guest is Amanda Higginbotham. She's a born and raised Texan, reigning as Miss Texas volunteer. I'm reading her bio. That's why I'm looking here. Has a passport full of stamps and a heart full for service. Summa cum laude graduate with dual degrees in aeronautical science and international studies and language certificates in Chinese and French. Amanda currently works as a DFW-based airline pilot and a part-time model. Also, with almost 5,000 lifetime volunteer service hours, she's the founder of the 501c3 nonprofit Reach Out to Outreaches, Inc., which has partnered with charities such as American Cancer Society, Civil Air Patrol, Angel Flight South Central, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, MPowered Performance Troupe, and more. We are almost there. Bear with me. If she's not landing or strutting on a runway, Amanda loves to inspire others through her SERVE initiative, the Spark Initiative, igniting curiosity to spark empowerment. She is a self-described movie critic, sushi eater, country dancer, and just another coffee lover. With a passion for life and a heart for others, Amanda wants to prove that courage, commitment, and a lot in capital letters of caffeine. You anyway, Amanda, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Where do you want to start? I have caffeine here, by the way. Fourth coffee of the day. It's been a long. Oh, come on. That's not fair. Well, why is yours so much bigger than mine?
Because I need it, but you'd be proud of me. I actually surprisingly have tea. So it's been a dramatic twist of events. I already had 3 cups of coffee, so I finally limited myself.
Is that where you call it? Is that where we limit it? It's 3, is it?
It's 3 with like 3 shots each. So, like 10 shots. It's I take that a lot, capital letters, caffeine, very seriously.
Okay, my first question. How are you alive? If you had 3 coffees, 3 shots, how are you alive?
No, it's honestly Starbucks. Like, I swear their coffee just isn't that strong to me. So when it says, oh, triple shot macchiato, well, I can down like 3 of those and then I'll feel it and I feel great. I feel ready to take on the day.
What are you like when you haven't had your first coffee of the day?
I'm very quiet, which is weird. I'm such a yapper, as you probably noticed at this like pre-interview. I'm a yapper, so if I'm quiet, that I'm watching my mouth because I don't want to say anything I'll regret.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is how morning routine wise, how long is it before you get the first coffee of the day into you? Are you like me, like you can't make your coffee until you've had your first coffee?
It's so bad that I have like a little espresso machine that I keep with me on trips. It like literally is like a camping gear espresso machine, and I stick like a little Nespresso pod in it. And while I'm getting ready at 3 a.m. in the morning, I have to have my coffee. So,
is this one of the ones that has like a little pump? Because you got
the Nespresso. It's even cooler. I just press a button. It's like, I think it's like I don't remember the name of it, but it's really cool. And I just pour in water. It heats the water itself because you can't trust the coffee makers in hotel rooms. Heads up to y'all. And so it heats it up, and then I'll just make a beep when it's ready to dispense. So my favorite invention ever.
Well, what sound does it make when it's ready?
Ready. I have to get the tone. Beep.
Your voice is a little shaky there. I think maybe.
Yeah, I need to work on my pitch, huh? Good thing I'm not a vocalist.
But you do play the piano, so that's something.
Gotta let something else do the work for me. Yeah.
I don't know where to begin with your bio. There's so many things that I want to talk about. Coffee, obviously, is one that I could talk. Can I just ask, before I move to the actual important topics, do you find coffee in America to be, I don't know how to politely put this, sometimes a bit disappointing compared to maybe coffee from other places?
Any other place? Yeah.
I find it, as an Australian, really difficult to get good coffee in America. And when I say good, I mean strong.
Yes, it's not like a dark, strong
Oh,
roast. I'm so with you. So do you drink your coffee like Americano black, or you like a latte guy? Oh,
black.
okay. Well, that's probably the issue. I'm definitely more of a latte gal, but I've
Yeah.
noticed when I do drink it straight up, there's a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I sometimes feel that I'm just drinking like the grinds with water poured into it. And
With extra
I,
water.
yeah, I
Mhm.
can have 10 mugs of it and I still don't feel anything,
Oh,
which
I'm
is
with
not
you.
okay. Next question. You're a pilot. Why are you so cool? How did this happen? I don't think I've interviewed another pilot before. So how did you get into this?
Oh, wow. That's one story. You know how you're telling me you had that story? I also have a story. So, my mama was a flight attendant for several decades for American Airlines, which is one of the legacies over here. And she always introduced me to the concept of traveling. And I knew I wanted to travel the world and get paid for it. I just never knew that it was going to be in the form of the front seat and the cockpit view until I got involved with the Civil Air Patrol. So, CAP, as it's called. It's like JROTC. It's like an auxiliary unit of our United States Air Force. And I
Right.
was able to go and do my first orientation flight with them. And then I upgraded and ranked up enough to get accepted into the Powered Flight Academy. And then I got a scholarship for my private pilot's license. And then, so it's just, they really gave me such a push. And it was hard to like, I guess, take a step back from the opportunities. I just wanted to go for it. And then, of course, that first flight, just like you said, it changes you. And when I took control of the plane and I did my first clearing turns, I knew that's something I wanted to figure out how to become a career and how to make it something I could turn into my own. So that's my long story in a few sentences.
But you said your mom, if we back up a second, so you said your mom was an airline, a flight attendant. And
Mhm.
this I've heard about before, but then normally the story I get is so then I became a flight attendant too. Your mom was a flight attendant and then you've ended up in, as you said, the driver's seat. Are female pilots as rare as I think they are? Because I don't remember the last time I saw a female airline pilot.
Aw. It's right now the statistic is sitting for my level of certification, which is ATP or Airline Transport Pilot Certificate. We're sitting roughly at 5% still, so it's definitely exponentially getting better. But you're right, we're sitting at that 5%, and
Wow.
between her and just my other mentors and my dad and the Silver Air Patrol and my family just rooting behind me, and I knew it's something I wanted to do.
What was the best thing about flying? Like what got you hooked?
I think the ability to have some control over my life. You know, when I was a teenager, I was involved in so much and I loved every moment of it. But you know that saying, what it's like, the days are long, but the years are short. I just felt like the days were long. I couldn't control stuff. Like, I kept trying hard. But when I got into that airplane, I could control my life. I could control my to do list. I could control my checklist. I could control how to land the plane. And I felt that by putting focus in that, I could just honestly navigate my own life. And it gave me such stability and it gave me such passion for something I never even knew I could achieve. So when I found that little spark, I knew that was something that I would want to turn into, like I said, a whole career. And so, but that's truly how it started. It's just that first flight that gets you hooked.
That's interesting because that's a quite a deep and spiritual reason for
Oh, thank you.
wanting to be a pilot. Can you remember what your first flight was like ever?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was only 14. So, like I said, very orientation flight. I was definitely not PIC for this one. I was like 14 or 15. And my rank, I was just an airman. I was super new to the Civil Air Patrol. And when I went up, I totally thought the rudders, I thought the rudders were irrelevant. I totally tried taxiing the plane with the yoke. So here I am, just yay, wee, wee. The instructor next to me didn't care to clarify because I was 14, right? So here I am thinking I'm taxiing the plane. Ugh. So I just remember that was my hilarious in hindsight 50-50. But of course, when I did my first takeoff, I was so scared. I mean, come on, you're in like we were in a two-seater plane. We were in a small Cessna, and you're just looking out next to you and you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So it was a different perspective. But by the time we came back around for that landing, I was hooked. And he even allowed me to land, when the instructor is on with you. So I think I just remember that being the most priceless moment. And then the photo afterwards, my face says it all. That face is blackmail. So AKY, it's not on social media, but it's a good one. It's a good one. Mm-hmm.
So it's not a pageant appropriate photo. I need to ask, you said that your call name is Silk because your land. Now, I've only flown nowhere near as much as you, but landing is, for me at least, and I don't know if this is the same for you, it is the most worrying and the most difficult part. Like up in the air, what can go wrong? Don't crash, you're fine. Landing and then having to work out I'm not just going to go towards the runway, but I need the right angle, I need the right speed.
Mm-hmm.
Too slow, I stall. Too quick, I'm going to overshoot. How are you so good at landing? Because that's like the hardest part of flying.
That whole stick and rudder feel, that's what I rely on, even though, the airline level can be so robotic and so technical. You just have to feel it. And, like you said, landings can be the hardest part. It's like that metaphor, takeoffs are optional, but landings are mandatory. So when we come in, one of my favorite things to do is disconnect the autopilot super early on. I usually do it, even all the way up to 10,000 feet. It just depends on the flight, the type of arrival we're going into, the airport conditions. But when I click it off, I'm able to feel the plane, trim the plane, and it's almost like you're in like a little friendship. Like you guys are back and forth. Right. And once you actually allow yourself just to take a deep breath, you kind of just know, you see the runway expand, and that's your tip. Hey, I need to flare. And then you're just looking at everything, the conditions all at once, about when to pull back brakes, when to start the thrust reversers, when to add, when to pull back the throttle, when to add the thrust reversers, when to add the brakes. So it's just a dance. It's just a dance. And you're like in this friendship with the plane. And so.
Do you get like a mechanical type of feedback like you might get, let's say, in a car when you steer and there's a bit of friction? Because my understanding was a lot of the planes have now gone to that fly-by-wire system. And so now you lose that feedback, which I would think is really important. It's almost like a car that has too much power steering. But do you actually get a bit of resistance to exactly know where the plane is situated?
You know what? That's a great question. And you just unboxed a whole argument within the aviation community between like the Boeing people and the Airbus people, because exactly what you said, one of them pilots are still directly controlling, and the other one, it goes through a little fancy computer system. You are so right. My current aircraft, it's called the ugly stepsister for a reason. We don't have any bells and whistles. We don't even have VNAV, which gives us vertical guidance. It is completely, utterly you. And so I love that, though, because I've really been able to challenge myself. But when I say we're kind of the odd man out, so I'm not really a good one to answer that, because I still have the passengers in the back. I feel bad when I do a little jolt or something. You guys feel it. There's no computer system to try to kind of alleviate that human factor. But that's what I love about it. And I think that's why my landings can get so silky, is because you really have that fine last minute touch. Mm-hmm.
This is so you're flying by the seat of your pants. I think this is the
yeah. Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Run me through the list of different planes that you've flown.
Okay, well, it's actually not been as fancy as you, Mr. Soviet Union jet barrel roll person.
The first time. Other than that, I've only been up in a Cessna and a helicopter. I mean, come on.
For your first one, too. Talk about an introduction. No, it's just been a bunch of Cessnas, 150, 152, 172, 182, Piper Archers, Piper Seminoles. I did the Baron, my multi-engine certificate, and the Baron. And I'm sure there's other ones sprinkled in there, the Decathlon, a Cub or two. And that's when I made the big jump to my current aircraft, the CRJ, which is the CL65 type rating. And that's the only jet rating I currently have. But I'm only 2 years in, so I know the list will get a little bit longer.
I'm not familiar with that type of plane. How big are we talking roughly?
Anywhere between, depending on the plane. So the good and bad thing is my variant actually has 4 different planes I actively fly, and they're completely different. So different weights, different seating configurations, different flight attendant counts. So it ranges in between 50 and 85 people. So
Wow.
yeah, the 900 is definitely our prettiest plane, if you will. But our 200, it's 50 people. So it really is a huge span.
I don't know. This is a weird question or silly question to
There's
ask,
no
but is
silly questions.
dream? Is there like do you have a dream plane that you'd want to end up flying, or a dream route?
Ooh, I love this question. That's a great question. And it's a great question because it's kind of undecided. I would love to fly international, like short term, because I already struggle with waking up at 3 a.m. sometimes. I don't know if I could get used to some of those time zone changes unless I'm choosing to go there and travel for funsies. So I think I'd like to short term do like a 777, but long term, I feel like I'm a Boeing gal. I think like a 737. I mean, the Airbus is fine. Like the Neo series is great, but I think any Boeing and ultimately probably just something domestic, something easy where I can be a good wife, be a good daughter, mother, all that stuff. Still hold that sense of
Yeah.
traditionalism. That's my message to females on how to achieve it all. So that would be my perfect dream life.
I saw this on YouTube. YouTube algorithm sometimes suggests things that you never would have thought of looking
That's
for, and
true.
then
It's a rabbit hole for a reason. Yeah.
there's a guy who's spent about $10,000, $15,000 on a flight simulator getup
Yeah,
at home,
that is.
right? And he
Yeah.
has 3 or 4 panels in front of him, but also it's mechanically
It's
articulated.
really cool. Yeah.
When he does this, the whole thing goes like this, and he
Full
actually did
motion.
what I believe is he said it's the longest nonstop flight I think it was from LA to Sydney. And he flew that for real. So he was in that seat, I think, for about 20 hours.
On
And
purpose?
he wanted to do it. And he was in
Okay.
one of the new Airbuses anyway, the
Mhm.
really gigantic one, the 380. And he
Yeah,
did it
nice
for
plane.
real. And he takes off, and you hear the whir of the engine. That's such an amazing. Only a person who flies would appreciate this. But he did the whole thing for real, and then he
Wow.
landed the thing. He
Yeah.
actually had to do a fly around because he was about to botch the
You
landing
had to
after.
do a go around. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
do a go around. But what I don't know. There's so many different things. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to land a plane on an aircraft carrier, for example? I just wanted to ask you this because you're known for your flying, and I just got to think
Nice.
hardest thing I can think of is trying to land on a carrier.
Oh,
How do you
yeah,
think
I
you
want my
do
Top Gun moment. Yeah, that would be so intimidating, but so awesome. But, I had my little moment. We have a couple really short runways, one of them being, like, Burbank, that's just kind of the notorious one, and those were told that your aim point, you gotta smack down. Those are not silky. Those you just gotta
put the plane
smack down. And so we like thinking that we're cool, like Top Gun pilots, and so we just like slam it down and we wake up the passengers saying, "Hey, we've arrived." But no, I would love to do something cool like that, or like bush flying in Alaska and like zoom in and out of mountains. And I would love to do that one day. That's all on my bucket list. So
My dad went over to Bhutan for a while, and apparently their
wow.
airport is known for one of the hardest approaches because it's nestled in between mountains. And so you have to really have it tight. I think they almost come in one way, turn around really steep, and then they have to land this thing in between a really tall mountain range. And
Oh
unfortunately,
gosh.
sometimes it hasn't gone well. But I don't know. Like for me, flying is easy. Takeoff, you just floor it basically and pull up.
Just floor it.
But can you talk? This is just going to be all my nerdy questions about planes. What is the life of a pilot like? I personally hate being a passenger. I'd rather fly the thing. So I'm really envious of you
Right.
guys. So I don't have to get stuck in TSA and all this stuff. But passengers get there if it's an international flight, like 2 or 3 hours early.
Mm.
You check your stuff in, you sit down, you get bored, you fall asleep, you ignore your neighbor. And all that stuff. But what is it like as a pilot?
There's nothing quite like it. It is truly the best office in the world. I still have to go through TSA sometimes, and it's annoying. We don't like TSA just as much as you guys don't like TSA. And once I get through TSA, if I'm random from KCM, I go to the gate and we do like a little crew brief, a little team bonding right before, and then we sit up front and we start our normal duties. So we start running through checklists, running like flight tests. We put in our flight plan to the FMS. We contact operations. I run out, make sure everything looks okay, and we're starting to get refueled. It's just so methodical at this point that it's relaxed, and it's just something I don't even have to think about. So you just get all cozied in, and I mean, our scenes aren't that much better than yours, but I found my little niche. You know, I like sitting with my shoulders just a little bit back, try to keep my posture okay throughout the day. And I get on my headsets in. I have the nice little, I treat myself for some comfier headsets, and it's so benign. It seems like such a cool job, but it becomes so routine. And then, of course, the minute the door closes, that's when your work really begins. And we start running through checklists and actually briefing what we're going to do. Most of the time, we go back and forth. So my captain will do a full in and out turn, and then I will do a full in and out turn. And so I fly just as much, if not more, than the captain. Most captains, they can be little old geezers that are counting down their days to retirement, and they're like, hey, it's 9 p.m. You can take the flight. So it just depends, but it is something that I never thought I would be accustomed to when I first started a couple years ago. But now that once I get there, it's like, hey, Judy, hey, Samuel. Okay, if you need me, I'll be up front. So
it's almost sad in a way, because there's this law, what they call law of familiarity, that whatever you get, whatever you're around a lot, just becomes the norm. And it's almost like if you were an astronaut and you were living on the International Space Station, at a certain point, it would become routine. But I'm just like, I can't imagine, honestly, I'd be more excited to wake up for than fly a plane. There's something about, I don't know if you've ever flown at night or early morning, and you know when the sun just comes up and you can see the, and it's so far away you can see the curvature of the earth. I don't think there's anything quite as beautiful.
No, and that's true. I do catch myself taking it for granted. And one of my favorite questions to ask my captain, but really all passengers, and even you, is like, are you a sunset or a sunrise person? Because it's truly one of those things, you start seeing them so often that you're able to actually answer, because your camera roll is full of stuff and you wake up and you see it. So what would you say? Are you sunset or sunrise person?
I would say, look, I don't want to chicken out the question. I would say either one, but I would say my favorite one is because I was on the approach to San Fran, and it was quite cloudy, as San Francisco always is, and going through the clouds, right? And so I started with my phone, I started recording the video as we descended through the clouds, because in my head, it's still a bit weird that you can fly through a cloud which looks solid. And so you go through it, and then it's just gray, right?
Gloomy and gross.
You emerge from the gray, and you see a new city. But that's what I like, because that to me is like excitement, because my 48-hour flight is finally over.
It's finally almost over.
Yeah, but that's the part that I like, is that going through the clouds. Is there any possibility that you get to Miss Volunteer America and you fly yourself there?
There is. So my specific airline, it's called SkyWest, but we work for all 4 legacies. We're the only airline to do that. So because of that, we fly into just about every single airport in the country. And one of them being Memphis, which isn't too far. It's like a jump, skip, hop away from where the national pageant is going to be. And so it was so funny. I flown to Memphis last month. I literally flew to Memphis last month, and I was like, how cool would it be? I wouldn't have to check any baggage. I'll just take one with me, drop it off. No. So, it's funny. I always joke around with taking a small general aviation plane to an appearance and taking my jet to nationals. So we'll see. Maybe I can work something out.
That would literally be the
coolest thing ever.
The coolest. I mean, come on, think about it. Coolest arrival photo ever. Miss Texas Volunteer is here. How did she get here? She flew the plane. I mean, come on. You can't ask for more than that. Memphis, by the way, is about an hour and a bit away by car from Nationals, because I went there last year, and I flew into Memphis.
That's usually the most popular way to get in there.
Yeah.
Wait, so you went to Nationals last year? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, how often do you get stateside?
Whenever I can.
Whenever you can. Oh my gosh, have you been to Texas?
I've stayed in Dallas Fort Worth.
Okay,
Yeah.
so have you been to Cowtown and like downtown Fort Worth?
I don't know what Cowtown.
Oh.
What's Cowtown?
Oh, then you haven't been to Texas. No, Cowtown, they kind of lead cow through the way. There's our big major rodeo right there. It's the best place to get barbecue, and then chips and margaritas on the same street. It is glorious. So you better come to Texas and I'll actually give you a good tour of Texas.
Let's start an argument for fun.
Oh,
Which state
do
is
it.
the best barbecue?
Which did you say? Is that even a question?
Yes, it
I
is,
almost
because
want to ask you to repeat
everybody
that question because
insists-
I know I didn't hear that right. I know I didn't hear it.
everybody insists that their state's barbecue is better than everybody else's. Now, I will
We
say,
do.
you get those giant, huge things that look like they're an oil tanker, and there's meat in there, and you get the meat,
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay, obviously I'm not going to lose weight on this trip. But is there any debate in your mind?
No. I really do feel like every single barbecue place I've tried in Texas has been great. Whether it's like Solman's barbecue or like Heart Eight barbecue to like Bucky's. Bucky's barbecue, everybody always looks over it. But if you grab a good brisket sandwich here in Texas, I know it's a gas station. Still some of the best you'll ever have. Mhm.
I'm getting so hungry now.
I know, fighting words.
What I found in Texas was everyone had their own recommendation. It's really funny because I asked my Uber driver for recommendations because we don't do barbecue like you guys do. And everyone had their own favorite place to go. So it's all kind of personal. So which ones would you, so you said Bucky's is your personal favorite?
Well, Bucky's is just quick and easy and good. It's there, it's next to the highway, it's to connect to the gas station, and it's not sketchy gas station food. But I think my favorite is a local place because local restaurants just do it better. And there's this place right up the street called Feed Store, and it has the best, what we call it like a baked tater, and a tater, it's a baked potato with like brisket on top and like cheese and scallions and sour cream. See, now I'm imagining it in my head as if I'm like the chef creating it, but it's so good. And their sauce, I don't know how they make that sauce, but I've never had something like that. So I think that would be my final answer.
Okay, so my follow-up question, Amanda, how on earth can you compete in pageants and look the way you do when you're surrounded by food like this?
No, the funny thing is whenever I go out on trips, at least like once a trip, the crew tries to go out, and that's what's most dangerous because you try to find the local food. I was just in Louisiana. We just ate Cajun and seafood boils for like 2 hours. And you know how much butter we consumed? No, it's insane. So it's a real question. I think I just like the treadmill maybe, or I think I was blessed with a good metabolism because I do like food. I like my coffee and I like my food. So
how was the food in Louisiana, by the way? Because I just had a friend who went there, and all I can think about is Cajun this and gumbo that and jambalaya. I mean, that's a barbecue, but how was that food for you?
Well, see, okay, I'm about to alienate people. I don't like crawfish. My mama and my sister are obsessed with those little lobster things, but I don't have the patience for them, and the goo kind of freaks me out. So I get the blackened shrimp, and the Cajun blackened shrimp is to die for. I get it every single time. I think my favorite has actually been probably Shreveport. There's a little hole in the wall restaurant with the best blackened shrimp, and they also have really good tilapia, and it's really good. I would highly recommend it. But crawfish,
Okay, how can you be not okay with crawfish, but you're okay with shrimp? They look pretty much the same.
But you don't have to work for shrimp. Shrimp is already pre-peeled and unveined or deveined, and like crawfish, you gotta crack, you gotta suck, you gotta squeeze, you get it. Too much work. It's too much work. I don't want to have to work that hard for my food, you know?
Clearly it's weirdly because you speak Chinese, but clearly you've never been to a Chinese restaurant.
I do love me some good Chinese food. I do.
Coming from Dallas Fort Worth, I don't know exactly what you've had as Chinese food, but I will tell you the most horrific dining experience I've ever had. And bear in mind the thing that they say about Chinese is they'll eat anything with 4 legs as long as it's not a chair or a table. We have what we call lobster here, but it's not the same as you guys with the claws. It's basically like a giant crayfish. That's like a giant crawfish.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they want to eat it sashimi style, right? Whatever. I love sashimi.
Oh, okay.
The thing with those sorts of animals is they still move around after you chop them in half.
Oh.
So the way this was served, I don't know why I'm telling you this story. It has nothing to do with
No, but I'm so curious.
Well, we'll come back to it. They had cut the tail off of this giant crayfish and then cut the tail again in half and then served it up sashimi, which is fine. I mean, it has no taste. So I don't know why anyone... But they shared on the plate. So I kid you not, it comes out, and I've eaten lobster many, many times. It's fine. I have a piece of it in my mouth, and as I'm looking at the table, the eye stalks are still moving and the legs are crawling. I've never been that close to just projectile vomiting my food right out of my mouth. I am still traumatized by that to this day. It's like,
I'm traumatized and I wasn't even there.
I'm not going to eat something that's still moving and looking at me. That's not where I draw the line. Anyway.
Well, I think anybody would draw the line. I'm sorry, I have to ask, what did you call crawfish? Crayfish?
Well, so we have what we call lobster, but it's not the ones with the claws. We don't have what you guys call lobsters. We have these giant, think of them almost as giant armored prawns, but they're like crawfish, but they're about a foot long. They can be really large, and they're spiny and no claws, lots of legs. But you guys don't have that, and so what we call lobster is completely different to what you guys. The first time I went to America, the thing I was excited most about was to try your guys' lobster. Speaking of,
it's pretty good. If you get to go to a good place, it's pretty good.
Unfortunately, it's not cheap. It's good.
Yeah.
Cheap. Okay, I need to ask you, how did you get into pageants? We're finally getting around to pageants, but with all this going on, don't you have enough excitement in your life?
It was so funny. I wasn't a pageant girl. I did the same system for a couple years and didn't really wander away from it. I was in MAO, what we call Miss America Organization, when I was a teen for 4 years. And it was great. It truly made me who I was or who I am. And it really pushed me to become so involved and to really strengthen myself and all of those fancy pageantry things. But I took a big break because I didn't think pageantry had a role in my life anymore. And to be honest, aviation is definitely one of those STEM industries where I don't wear a lot of makeup or get to dress up or wear heels or really even care how I look because I wear the same exact thing every single day. So it's something that I was considering getting back into because I felt like I was losing myself in my career. Even though I loved it, I felt I was losing the parts of me. And, I had this saying ever since I was young, and it was like, I want to have a voice that uplifts, hands that serve, and a heart that connects. Like that was like my purpose in life. And I just kind of lost sight of it. So my pageant journey started when I was a teen, but it restarted just last year when I decided to compete for Miss Texas Volunteer. And I chose this specifically because it was everything I was looking for. And it had a new emphasis on volunteerism. And I was able to reboot my 501c3 and refine myself. And I don't know. I feel like I'm a living testimony of why pageantry is still relevant because my restart journey is, I think, so powerful.
It's interesting. I think you'll almost find like it's two separate journeys because I think everyone has a preconception of pageantry before they enter it. And then even yourself, if you competed for 4 years, that's a considerable amount of time. But MAO was very different back then. Competing as a teen is very different. And so I'm going to be interested to see how you feel that this time around goes. I'm just curious, how did you find out about Miss Texas Volunteer though? Because the system as a whole is fairly new.
Mm-hmm. You know what? One of the reasons I love about this system is it's made up of so many people that I adored and idolized when I was a teen. So some of the original creators and founders of the Miss Volunteer America organization were involved with the Miss America organization. So they kind of broke off, and so all those people I was already kind of familiar with. And so when thinking about joining my pageant journey and starting it all back up, I really was familiar with those people already. So when I saw that the brand that they had made and discovered the business that they had created and overall the mission that they wanted to serve, I was like, that's it. That's the one for me. And nothing against all the other systems, but this one I truly felt was checking all my boxes.
Yeah, I will say, because I flew over specifically for MVA because I interviewed Berkeley Bryant, and then I just realized after interviewing Berkeley, it's like, there's something different about this girl. And then I interviewed probably 10 of the MVA title holders from last year, and I just decided, well, this is kind of cool. So I'm going to go and have a look, because I'd never seen a large-scale American pageant before then. And I have to say, the production values were through the roof. I've never seen anything like it. It was like, I mean, taken over now, but the production values, the girls had an amazing time, and the way they did visitation afterwards, so you could catch up with the girls, they could catch up with their family. I think everyone just had a genuinely amazing time. The only thing I will say is how you feel about the cold. I mean, you're from Texas, you probably hate the cold. Inside there is freezing.
I heard it's like an iceberg. I heard I need to get like a heated vest.
Yeah, just wear one around you, because I kid you not, I got over there and I never get sick. I got sick because it was cold in there. So whatever you do, you're going to have to rug up, because otherwise you'll freeze to death.
Oh, yeah. Here I am going to be sending you pictures of my like heated vest and my triple lined furry socks. And wait, did you say that your first pageant, like on a national scale, was MVA?
In America, yeah.
Yeah. I've
never
amazing.
seen one like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so I understand, but the thing coming from Australia, we don't really have pageants. I mean, we do. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but you might go down to a local pub or something, and that's where they hold it. And so that was my idea of what pageants was like. And I started my pageant career here in Australia, and then I went to the UK. Finally, I felt like, well, I'm ready to tackle the holy grail of pageants, which obviously is America, specifically the Deep South. But nothing really could have prepared me for the scale of the spectacle, because you have the women, as you all know, they have the heart of service, of volunteerism, and there's women who've put in literally thousands of volunteer hours, but you still have the spectacle. And that's kind of the thing I thought was missing from Miss America, especially when they ditched the swimsuit section. Was, I get why they did it, but a lot of people then lost interest in it and their viewership tanked. And I just thought it was cool that they showed you can actually have both. Like, there's no reason why you have to go complete scholarship and woman of substance, but then forget the spectacle. And I thought that's something, I don't know if you noticed the same thing when you decided, okay, I'm going to enter this pageant, because I thought it was the perfect blend of style with substance. Was that something that drew you to it too?
Absolutely. Like, I'm sure you're familiar with the SERV acronym, and I really felt that spoke to me, especially, of course, the empowerment and the overall overlying community feel of the pageant. It didn't feel like a pageant. It felt like a system, and where it was like a ladder and a staircase, where if you put the work in, you were guaranteed to go somewhere. Whether that was helping your community, your state, or your nation, you were guaranteed to be able to have the opportunities and the platform to reach people and to do something. So I love that. It was truly something that gave me an excuse to dress up with substance. I love that. Hit the nail on the head.
I got to imagine, like, if you're flying and you're three in the morning, that you don't really feel like, glamming up. Or
I do not feel like a pageant girl. No.
No, you're probably not allowed to. So I can see it's like, I get a chance to finally dress up and go to the runway. I can understand that. I was looking at your 501c3, and I find it fascinating because if I'm understanding it correctly, it's a non-profit that helps non-profits. Is that right? Am I reading it right? So you got to tell me more about this.
That's us. So it was so funny. My origin story, if you will, started really young. Years before I actually incorporated into a 501c3, I was so naive. I signed my mom and I up for beautiful feet. That's all it said. It was at my local church, and it said, sign up for a few hours of beautiful feet. And I thought I was going to get a pedicure, because what 12-year-old would not think that they were going to go and get a pedicure. And so I show up. My mom didn't care to clarify, and we spent the whole day at a homeless shelter. And being 12 years old and being introduced to different living conditions that were, just right down the street from me, it really opened my eyes to what I could do. And you don't have to come from luxury. You can come from comfort, you can come from nothing and still be able to have that role in somebody else's life. And so when I was that young and I was able to have that small role, I remember I was like serving Lucky Charms to other kids, and they were so grateful, and they're just so fun. And I was playing with them like they're just normal people. And I was like, this is so stigmatized. Why? We all can do something no matter our age or our place in life. And that's what actually started my love for volunteerism, is knowing that I could do something. But I knew that there's already so many different outreaches there. So you had Beautiful Feet, you had Grace Grapevine, you had Gatehouse Women's Shelter, you had all of these wonderful charities. They didn't need another charity. They needed somebody to help them occasionally. And so that's where Reach Out to Outreaches was born. And I've been able to partner with so many charities and helping them where they need to be helped. So it's fund allocation, it's event planning, it's strategizing, it's overall going to them. It's starting like haircuts at the Gatehouse Women's Shelter. It's starting a like yearly gift service, if you will, for Love for Kids. It's doing harvest festivals to raise fundraising. It's whatever it is and whatever it looks like for them. We kind of meet them there. And I have so much support and network from all of the connections and the events that I've done. I'm able to tie them together. And it's not just charity to charity. There's some great community donors. Even just my last fundraiser, Main Event came through and gave so generously. There's Georgiana, Kendra Scott, all of these main big line brands and businesses that I've been able to connect with. And that's the coolest thing. And that's why I am so grateful that I was able to incorporate under such a wide mission statement, because I've been able to do such a wide variety of things. It's so exciting.
So you help other charities rather than basically starting your own. And I love that idea, because I agree with you. I don't think we need more charities. I think we need to support the ones we already have. Do you need anyone to help you though? Like, do you take donations? Here's your idea and goes, that sounds like a great idea. Is there some way to get involved?
Yes. So the cool thing is I have a really great team and a really great board of members. And long story short, while our main goal is to help other charities, we also have a couple of our own events. We just got 3. We try to do 2 or 3 big ones every year. And our latest one was back in November. We held a big fundraising booth at one of the largest Christmas tree lightings in Texas. And we had a fun kids corner full of volunteers, free face painting, ornament decorating, all of those fun things. And on the other side, we were able to get enough donations for a raffle. And so we were able to support, and we ended up connecting with St. Jude and Nicole Powell, who's my liaison. So I was able to leverage, kind of bring in MVA, even though I wasn't doing it under the crown. I never wore my crown for the event, but it's always in mind, right? It's like a second job for me. So I was able to do my own event, and that once again helped me empower other charities. So when it comes to, do I ever need the help? Heck yeah. But I'm always grateful for people signing up on the website, and we just get together over tea and coffee. And I have a performance troupe, and especially a few years ago, we were doing 4 or 5 shows every Christmas or Christmas time. And so there's so many different little different roles in society that we've been able to fill, that everybody has a role. Everybody will find something to do at Roto. Roto's our little slang. So
where did it start? I know you told me the origin story where you thought you were getting a pedicure and you were hilariously wrong. But to get to the point where you now are connected with all these charities, I mean, there's a part missing there. So how did you go from, okay, I want to do something, to where you are today?
Really, when I was younger, I just wanted to be able to do something, and it started off very benign, right? Everybody starts off with the cute little bake sales and the donation drives, and those are so important. Those are critical, but I wasn't being able to make the impact that I knew I could make. So it really started off small. It started off with being able to give only $100 worth of donations of shoes, or maybe in a bake sale, raise $75 to go to my local we have like this local, we call it Grace Grapevine, so a local charity. So whatever it was, it started off small, and I would like to think I'm so ambitious. I just wanted to be bigger. And so I started reaching out to larger and larger charities, and I had to meet them somewhere. And so we still focus on local charities because those are ones that usually need the most help. But by pushing myself and connecting with the Salvation Army, even before I was involved with MVA or Carter Blood Care, or we did a lot with veterans associations, whatever it was, I knew I had to come up with a brand and a nonprofit that would then have the tools to actually help. Because not having a 501c3 status here, you're not able to collect funds, not able to like hold funds and redistribute. I'm not able to accept donations because I don't have an IRS number. So I was running into all of this. So my only solution was to go ahead and incorporate. I was doing everything, and I realized that I had to make it legal. And so that's where I found the ambition, and I incorporated it back in 2017. So it's been around long enough that I now have even more rules and regulations that have loosened up. So it's so funny because there was that gap. But to me, it was a staircase. It was like I just kept trying to do more and more, and then I plateaued, and I had to take the elevator up. So
I love that, because there was a mentor of mine when he was growing up. He had nothing, and one day he remembered someone came to the door at Christmas. They had no food, and someone came to the door with a Christmas hamper from the local church, and a giant turkey. And he remembered that because otherwise they would have gone hungry for Christmas. And then later on, he wanted to give back, and so he started doing meals for. I think he started with delivering 2 meals to 2 homes one Christmas, and the next year he wanted to do 4. The next year you want to do 8. Because I want to do more, but I'm only one person. Then he got other people involved. To this point now, I think he's like millions of meals, Amanda. Like he's on that scale now where he's thinking about ending world hunger. So it's an amazing story. But it started from him starting small. But then, like what you said, I think it's really important. Like you're aiming for the stars, so to speak. And you go, well, if I'm going to there, and it's not about you in a way. It's like, well, if we're going to do that, then we need to do this, and this. Whereas I feel like if it was just for you, maybe that same drive isn't there.
No, you're so right. The only thing that's kept me going for all of these years is the people. It's the people that actually have come up and hugged me and said thank you. It's the kids who smile when I'm able to donate whatever it is, whether it's money or shoes or gifts or little pre-made little package ornaments they can make, whatever it is. It's the people, and it's the seeing humanity come together for good. It encourages you to do more. And one of my favorite quotes is, you find meaning in your life when you find meaning in other lives. And that's something I've tried to live by.
That's a good one to live by. I need to ask you, so you have multiple facets to your life, obviously. I mean, where would you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Oh, okay, I have to do math in my head. Okay, 5 years. Well, hopefully by then, I know I'm like, oh, I didn't have to bring out the math. Hopefully by then I'm at Delta. So I'm really blessed to be part of a very kind of exclusive program. It's called the Delta Propel program. So Delta Airlines went ahead and extended a qualified job offer to me back a few years ago now. And I've been having to meet different milestones and different application requirements as I go. But I only have, I think, like 23 months before they're required to take me. So hopefully that 5-year mark, I'm getting settled in as a Delta Airlines FO. I'm working on my seniority, holding a better schedule. And my whole goal is to work really hard and then tone it down. I'm going to work really hard and then get a good schedule and then switch into management. I'd love to be the vice president of pilot operations, really focusing on bettering quality of life. I would love to be able to switch over into an occasional office job to where I can fly be in the office or take more time at home. So I think that aviation is such a wide industry that you can really find a job that will fit whatever lifestyle you want. And so for me, my 5-year plan is definitely to still be focusing, of course, on my career while also being able to take a step back and focus a lot more on my nonprofit, my family, and of course, traveling and all these other bucket list items I have that keep getting longer and longer.
And let me throw a typical pageant interview question at you.
Okay, ready.
How would you like describe yourself in a few words? If I was to ask your best friend, how would you describe Amanda?
Oh gosh. Okay, but they know different Amanda.
Well, just normal Amanda, not pageant Amanda. How would they describe Amanda?
I think they would consider me a very warm and witty person. That's actually what one of my dearest flight attendants described me as, warm and witty. And I love it because it just makes sense in my head. The alliteration is great. But I really love that. And I think that she saw parts of me during that trip. We've flown several trips together, and she's seen that leader, authoritative side of me where I have to take the action. I have to intervene with something, whether it be safety or maintenance or customer service or blah, 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 blah. But she's also seen like the witty warmness of me being able to just have a team dynamic and have those connection with the passengers. And because you get in some really weird conversations. Just my last trip 2 days ago, I had a guy come up to me and tell me his mama was in the ICU and he asked me to go and grab his bag early. So I went to the plane and grabbed his bag earlier than the passengers. But you get into all these moments with passengers and it's a roller coaster. Everybody's traveling for a different reason. You have such a small role in someone's larger journey. And I think the flight attendant being able to like perceive both of those sides of me, being witty and quick and authoritative, but like warm. I love that. And I'm going to have to tell her that you finally asked me this because I'll text her and be like, guess what? So I think I'm just going to take what she said out of her book.
When she says witty, does that mean quick with a joke? Is that what she means?
Probably a little bit of both. I will say I'm very punny. I just love a good pun and I love a good fun fact. You know, my last trip, our whole argument in the cockpit for like 5 hours was whether or not ketchup is a smoothie. Because it's kind of like a weird concept. It's kind of like I just went off and I had a witty moment and he was using ketchup on some snack he was having. And I was like, that's a smoothie. And so, because a tomato is technically a fruit. So if you're blending a fruit, does that make it smooth? It's just one of those moments. So, I like to think of it as being just quick and like quick-witted. And she definitely saw a part of me. We had a 4:15 a.m. van time, which means like a 3:15 a.m. alarm. And I was just yapping off the oddest things that morning. So.
Ketchup is a smoothie.
Ketchup is a smoothie. Done and dusted, you guys. Interview done. That's my final drop the mic moment.
It's good to know that whilst we're flying 20, 30,000 feet above the air, that you guys have your minds on the important things like tomato is a fruit, so ketchup is a smoothie. But no one makes savory smoothies, Amanda. Who you don't make a bolognese smoothie. I mean,
but is that a soup then? Is a sausage soup? I'm kidding with you. I'm not diabolical. That's never a thing. But no, I see that's a good counter argument. We are having a good debate here.
My supposition, I'm saying that ketchup is a condiment for a few reasons. Number
You're
one,
like, neither.
You would never put corn flour or corn syrup or cornstarch into your smoothie. Like the ingredient. Okay, I get the tomato is a fruit argument, but no one puts cornstarch in their smoothie.
You can't defend his side. He was the one that said no. You got it.
I am defending the truth, Amanda.
Defending the truth. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll meet you in the middle. It's neither. It's not a smoothie, but it's not not as anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. These are the hard-hitting topics that we need to
We're
discuss.
solving the
How
world's
do
issues.
I wish, honestly, in the day and age that we live in, I wish the hardest thing we needed to solve right now would be, is ketchup a
Ah,
smoothie.
you and I both.
It's-
Yeah.
There's so much craziness just going on. That's
Mhm.
the other thing about flying. It must be nice sometimes to just be in the sky above it all, and just be away from it. And
It
then you
is.
land,
It
and you
is.
got to be in it, and again, it's like, oh god.
And then when you land, you get the couple occasional side comments, and you're like, ugh, close the door back up.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get into that because that's too heavy and too topical. Let me ask you, how do you balance like pageant prep when you have to wake up at 3 a.m. and you've had 9,000 coffees for that day?
You
How do you
gotta
fit?
love what you do. Yeah, you gotta love what you do. You gotta wake up every morning. It's a good thing. I love all of my jobs, whether it's airline pilot or my 501(c)(3) status or being Miss Texas volunteer. You just gotta wake up and you gotta look forward to it. Like even today, my day started extremely early today, but I was so looking forward to this interview that I was never at one point feeling like, oh, I only have 3 days off. I'm booked full. It was never like that. And how I'm able to manage everything is I think Google Calendar. Google Calendar is like my best friend. I color code everything. And I think visually seeing it makes it seem so much more attainable. Because when you see that you can do it in like little time blocks, you know you can do it. And I feel like as long as you love what you do, like the productivity is less like pressure and it's more like passion. And so you're able to turn it into something else. So I think that overall, the secret to my life is just making sure that there's purpose behind everything. I'm intentional with my time. And like I said, my guilty pleasure is a good coffee and a good matcha. And if I feel overwhelmed, that's my little my safe place is the local coffee shop, and I have a little downer moment and I get back up and my whole thing is coffee in one hand, confidence in the other, and I'm ready to go again. And so
What do you think the most important thing to you in life is? Like, what keeps you going when things are tough? Like, what are your most
family.
important
Yeah,
family?
absolutely. Absolutely. I am so blessed with a family that we have been through so much life together, and every single person has their story, right? And my family story has been a couple of chapters, but we've been able to overcome so much together that the trauma bonding was real, and
Yeah.
they are literally my backbone. They are my foundation, they are everything. So that along with my faith, it's like nothing can be thrown at me as long as I have those things, because all of this is just extra. All of this is just fun and it's adding detail and color and beauty to my life, but it's not the foundational thing. And I think that's why I'm able to have this weird perspective on pageantry. It's because I appreciate it for what it is. And it's a tool, it's an add-on, it's just kind of a speakerphone. And so at the end of the day, what keeps me going, what means the most to me is just loved ones.
Are they going to be able to be there at the pageant cheering you
They
on?
better be. They better be. I put them on my non-rev benefits. They don't even have an excuse at this point. So I know it's a long week of competition, but I think everybody's planning on coming up for finals. So, and it sounds like you might be coming up, right, for the competition?
Yeah, maybe. I'm
Maybe.
considering it. If I can get Amanda a decent flight, because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I'm not going to be flying American Airlines. I interviewed her last year, and she was working with American Airlines as a hostess, and I
Yeah.
had to have a word with her at recitation. I said, "You never told me."
Oh, no.
It was horrific. Like, oh, I almost didn't get out of Sydney. That's how badly they screwed up the ticket. And
Oh,
so,
no. Oh, you're so
yeah.
serious. Wait, how did they screw up your ticket?
So at one point, I don't know if this happened. Maybe you can tell me how often this happens, but they
Okay.
had shifted a flight, right? And it wasn't a direct flight to Sydney. It was a connecting flight. But because they shifted the connecting flight earlier, I wasn't going to be able to have time to make the connection.
Oh,
Right?
no.
It might have actually been in Dallas Fort Worth. I don't know.
Oh,
But then
wow.
they didn't bother to tell me that because they had shifted the second flight, that my first flight wouldn't work anymore because I'd never make the connection. So I then had to contact them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we see that, and so we'll book you on an earlier flight." It was great, but somehow they screwed up the ticketing so that ticket, when I got to Sydney Airport, it didn't exist. And so I was trying to check in, it wouldn't work. And then they said, "Oh, you need to go on the app, and then you need to get onto chat." And I'm sorry, but when I'm trying to check in for an international flight, I don't want to have to download your app and chat to you via your app. So I was impressed. So I don't know what it is, but I don't want to repeat that process.
No, you and I both. That doesn't even make too much sense, because usually they automatically rebook you if something's wrong. So
I would have thought so, but I was wrong. So I have to find a different airline because I don't want that.
I will help you. I mean, you have United and Delta, and what is Australia's? I know the name of it.
Qantas, I think Qantas is a code share with United, I think. And look, I've flown on United before, and that's been great. I've never had problems with United, so I don't know.
You probably do you go through Houston then? Or you probably don't know that yet.
I'm happy to go through anywhere. I think San Fran is an option.
Okay.
Texas somewhere.
That's not
it
bad.
won't be direct, obviously, and I'll get off at Memphis as well, because otherwise it's a longer car trip in. But you know, I don't know if this ever happened to you because you're the pilot, but sometimes as a passenger, it's such a stressful time sometimes trying to make your flight. And then TSA this is the other thing that really annoyed me. TSA doesn't want to help you get through that line. The plane was running late. And here in Australia, if you tell them, okay, I've got a flight at this time, and you got to go through customs or the whatever, and you won't make it on time, they'll say, "Oh, you go through to the front," because they don't want you to miss your flight. In America, I literally heard someone say, "I'm not going to make my flight." The TSA agent said, not word of a lie, the back of the line is over there.
Oh, that was just a mean TSA agent, though. Usually, I feel like we try to be a little bit nicer. Oh my gosh, we need to step up.
Point where you care so little about your fellow humans. That's what I don't understand.
Oh my gosh, no, that makes me so sad. I know for sure when we have a late flight, we're like zooming, right? We go like Mach 8 to help our passengers. But when we land, we always do at least a courtesy call, like, "Hey, please stay seated if you don't have a connection." You think TSA would try to keep some of the same respect for, oh my word. See, but we can bond over this mutual dislike for TSA, because honestly, they're not my favorite people either. Everybody thinks that we don't have to go through. I go through so much more than people realize, and I have to lug all my stuff. They find something they want to check in my bag, and I'm like, it's just an oversized shampoo bottle, which we're allowed to bring.
Pilot. What are you? Look, I don't know. And the other look, I'm sure there are good TSA agents. I want to be respectful. The thing that really ground my gears, there were like 6 lanes to go through, and there was a line that was half an hour long. They only had 2 lines open.
Yeah, sounds about right. That sounds right, though.
What do you do? What's wrong with me? I don't understand. These people are all going to miss the flights, which then makes your job harder. Get them through, and they're all half them are standing around doing nothing, looking at their phone. Oh no,
I'm with you. I know there's good ones out there, but there was one specifically, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I swear everything was sending off the little what am I trying to say? When you step through it and it like buzzes off. Okay. So I go through, the metal detector. I go through those things all the time. All of a sudden, the sensitivity is jacked up. I had to take off my watch, my earrings. I had to take off my wings. We're not supposed to take those off, but they made me take off my wings, of course, my belt. I was like, what's next? My pants, my socks. It was just one of those things where, it happens, and it's sad because I love just yapping about it, but c'est la vie, right? Part of it.
Yeah, I was wondering before I got there, why do so many pageant girls actually drive interstate rather than flying? Now I know. It's nothing to do with not wanting to fly. It's not wanting to go late lose a flight, you can't go to a pageant and lose your luggage, right?
No.
I mean, talk about huge nightmare if you turn up to your pageant and you don't have your gown, you don't have your arrival, you don't have your shoes. So I get it now.
Yeah, I've had passengers come up to me in the cockpit and ask us to verify that their bags are in the bottom or they're in the belly of the craft, and we do it. I mean, why not, right? But I've had a couple passengers that have specifically, hey, can you make sure? Oh, there goes my earring. Hey, can you please make sure this is on? So, yeah.
Anyway, all of that aside,
The traveling drama aside.
Yeah, I'm hopefully planning on being at MVA if I can just get over my trauma from last time. Anyway, before we get to the final 10 questions, Amanda, because I've had you on for over an hour already.
You know me, I can chat all night long.
I'd like to give you guys a chance to give any thanks or shout outs to anyone who supported you along your journey. I mean, you already mentioned your family. Shout outs.
Oh my gosh. You know, it's so funny coming back into this world. I've had so much more support than I even realized I had. So, of course, my state board, there is some wonderful people, my state board. There's Mike and Mark and another Mark. And then there's a few really great, generous, genuine sponsors. So whether that's Larissa at Shimmer Boutique, whether that's Heather Sumlin at Mental Management or Sumlin Solutions now, there's so many different people that have come out of the woodworks to offer me support. And it's one of those things where you almost feel obligated to keep trying harder and to keep waking up earlier because you want to make them proud. So those are just a few, very few names out of everybody that's been reaching out and supporting me from afar, even just shooting me a text. I've had people from years ago shoot me a text and being like, hey, what you're doing is inspirational. Or even just this wonderful Salvation Army lady, her name is Captain Maxie, and she has really taken my dream and ran with it. And she's like, okay, let's plan this day here. Let's do rockets here. Let's do UV astronauts here, just spreading out my lesson plans. And so she's been a big supporter. And I never thought I'd get that feedback. Like, hey, you're changing kids' lives. Let's do more. Usually it's like, you have to keep doing all this work. And I have all these facilitators in my life. So that's a long answer, but my village is so big and it's growing. And I feel like I have skyscrapers of support. And that's just the surface level of it.
Well, then you must be doing something right. If people are willing to support you, that there must be a reason for
it. I'm trying.
There's a lot of grace there, but I'm sure a lot of it is hard work as well. All right, the final 10 words. Now, you said you were witty, so I'm sure these won't be a problem for you. So, number 1, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word? Oh, boy.
Longest period you've been silent for this entire interview.
Wow, I know. I speak so much. I'm like, I now I'm having to think about what I speak so much about. I say so a lot. Maybe so is my favorite word. I know that's such a weird answer, but I mean, even when I am about to take off, I literally, I grab the controls. I look over. I'm like, so you ready to go? I think it's so. Like, you know how some people say or like, if you go back, if somebody counts all my so's within this interview, I think that's my favorite word. It just connects everything, keeps everybody connected. So what do you think, right? I don't know. We'll just stick with that. We'll just say that.
I think you should start up a so jar. And every time you use the word so, I think you should have to put a penny in it. And we'll see. We'll see how many millions of dollars
I was about to say, wait, that's a great idea. Okay. You know what? I'll reach back out with updates.
It's not my fault, by the way, if you go completely broke doing this, okay? You have to control what's coming out of your mouth. All right, so that was your favorite word. What is your least favorite word?
Scrumdiddlyumptious. My sister says that, and I don't know what about that word, but she'll say after dinner that I cook, or if we go out to eat, or if we splurge on a little margarita, she'll take a sip. She's like, oh, this is scrumdiddlyumptious. I don't know. I don't know if anything can be scrumdiddlyumptious. I feel like that's just not a. I don't know why that's always bothered me. But other than that, on like a surface level, on a deeper level, my more pageantry answer that I always go to is, of course, the word failure. So that's one more pageantry one that I always use for my interviews, and I think it's because I've always heard of failure being something to fear. And of course,
Yeah.
everybody fears of failure, but failure gets you to success. And I think
Hmm.
that all of my failures in life helped narrow down the path of success I'm on. And so whenever I talk to kids, it's kind of funny. One of the few things I say during my STEM lesson plans, one of the only things I say is really you launch off from failure. And so I think that's probably my least favorite word because I hate people being afraid of it. And I hate people thinking that's all that's left for them.
Did you say it was your sister
My
who said
sister,
scrum
my
diddly
sister says scrumdiddlyumptious. So on a chatty level, I just don't like that word. I just don't like that word.
What? Okay, I don't mean to sound insensitive. What's wrong with your sister? Is she five
Thank
million
you.
years old? Is she a Disney character? Why can't you just say that was yum? Like that was nice, or that's well,
That's
why?
delicious. That's savory. Oh, that's good. No, no, she does a little scrumdiddlyumptious. So no, I love her. I love her. She's special. No, she's hilarious. She's like my little
Yeah,
fur ball, curly hair ball of sunshine. But yeah,
special is the right description. I would definitely describe. Since you hate that word so much, can you spell it?
okay. SRUMDE. Can I use it in a sentence, please? Can I have the origin? Is that can I? I'm a
I
spelling bee. That's
don't
allowed,
know.
right?
Not a
The
word
origin.
that I've ever used. You tell me.
I have no idea. Probably from some Willy Wonka movie, to be honest.
That's what I mean. Anyway, okay. Number 3 in life, what gets you excited or what turns you on?
Ooh, I think the chance of opportunity. I think every time that I have another opportunity come up, I get excited. I just want to say yes. I actually mentioned to somebody else, I struggle saying no, but I think that's a
Mm.
good thing because I'm testing my limits and opportunity just makes me excited. And even just with St. Jude, they just asked me to be on the committee team for their next huge
Oh,
St. Jude walk. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to squeeze that into my Google Calendar, but yes, because it makes me excited. And when you're excited to do something, you figure it out, right?
yeah.
So definitely for sure, opportunities. Opportunities keep me going.
Okay. So that's what turns you off. Question 4, what turns you no, that was what turns you on. Question 4 is what turns you off.
Oh, ooh. Um, what turns me off? I think something that I'm working on is dealing with people who aren't receptive. That it's really easy to get kind of depressed, to get discouraged at people who aren't receptive, and not just and just everything in life. In my career, people have everybody deals with comments, and I've gotten some comments, and no matter what you say, some passengers just won't be receptive to what you say, or even through pageantry there's some people that just don't understand the value of it, and you can sit there and explain it and plead your case and they just won't be receptive. So I think something I'm working on is not getting discouraged when you're trying to talk about something that you know is right and you know is important and it's just not being received. So that definitely turns me off, and it's discouraging, but I think that also just helps me navigate how to deal with that conversation in the future, maybe a different route
Yeah.
to take it or whatever it is. So
Yeah, I think from experience there are just some some people it's not worth having a conversation with,
yeah,
unfortunately.
and that's one of the things too. It's like I've always been confused. Should it be never give up or some things are meant to be? It's like such a conflicting, those two phrases are so important, but they conflict. And I think it's knowing when to rely on each of them.
I think there's always a way around it though. I think like if you
Mhm.
have the end goal in mind, you never give up on it. But I might not
Yeah.
take this particular route. Like so if I don't want to talk to this
Yes.
person, I from someone who's more receptive. So I'm not giving up, but I'm not stuck on this one. Like, for example,
Yeah.
a lot of pageant girls are fixated on pageants. Like, if I don't win this pageant, then my life is kind of worthless and meaningless. Like, well,
Yeah.
many different ways to have worth and esteem and meaning in your life. And if the pageant one doesn't work out, you find another one. If that doesn't work out, you find another one. So I don't know if that helps. That's how I would look
No,
at it.
that helps so much. And it's so true. And it's so true. And sometimes you just need reminders of those things, you know? Yeah.
That's what we have the Bible for.
Preach
If you're
it.
ever short on wisdom, just read that. Number 5, what sound or noise do you love?
Ooh. Okay, I can't make it plane related though. That would be way too cringy. I was about to say a plane thing and I really can't. Even though
You got to give the plain one as well. I want to hear this.
Okay. So when you land and you know it's been a good landing, right? You hear kind of like the nose, like, you know, have you been at where you've landed and you have to wait for the nose to come down, right? Because you were in a flare. Okay, so when you come down, that sound of coming down, that tells you how good your landing actually was. It's not just the touchdown, it's how you control the plane. And there's a little sound in the cockpit you hear. It's almost like a little click as it clicks up. And I love it because that means, one, I'm closer to being done with my day. It's a lay complete, let's be honest here. But 2, I know that I did really well in my landing and we can open up the door because we only open up the door if it was a good landing. So that's how it works. So oh yeah. If you are deplaning and the cockpit door ain't open, they are not proud of that landing. Just some words of wisdom right there.
So what? You don't let the passengers off the plane because
like the cockpit door. I'm sorry, like the our door, like the cockpit door. Oh, no wonder you're so confused. No, like our little door.
I was thinking you botched the landing, and so now you're not letting the
everybody's trapped. Oh no, but that would be quite funny. But I think that's one of my selfishly favorite sounds. But other than that, I love the piano. I love playing it. My sister sometimes sings with me. I play it a lot, just performing, and I think that's my favorite sound. Even though sometimes it annoys me, right? Because you hit a wrong note, you're learning a new piece, and it just like, grrr. But other than that, on a good day, I think that's my favorite sound in the world.
There's nothing. Okay, you think hitting the wrong note on a piano is bad? I learned the violin. At least on a piano, there's only a key, so you can press the wrong key. Violin, there's a reason they say it sometimes sounds like a dying cat, because if the person doesn't know what they're doing, it is horrid. So don't do the violin then. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I'd love to learn like the harp though. That would be really pretty.
That's not easy to fly with.
No. Maybe I should start a little lower expectations.
Yeah. Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
My alarm. Oh my gosh, that one's easy. My alarm. Whenever my alarm goes off, I say, love what you do. Be excited. I do. Once I wake up, those first 5 minutes that I'm snoozing my alarm, worst sound in the world. And when it's an early morning van time, I have to use that horrible fire siren. And it's like, mine sounds, it's like, dee, 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 dee. It's horrible. And it just jolts me out of bed. My alarm.
I can literally see the annoyance in your face right now. You got the veins bulging out on your head. You need to relax. It's okay.
It's
right?
so annoying. I just don't like it.
Remember, you chose this life. No one made you.
I wouldn't choose another one, but dang, those first couple of minutes, I literally am just dead to the world.
That's what we have coffee for, Amanda.
Thank you, aka my coffee obsession.
Exactly. All right, number 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Ooh, that's a good. I would love. See, at first I'm thinking I would like to read people's minds, but let's be honest, I don't want to know what else is going on up there. So I would love to be able to move things with my mind, like telepathy. Like if I could just
telepathy is reading people's mind.
Not
You're
telepathy.
talking Jesus. You want to be
Telekinesis, that one. That's the one. I think that would be so cool. Like, could you imagine, like, even doing an appearance or something, and you're like, oh, I left my crown in the car. Like, that would be, come on. How easy would life be? Like, did you ever watch Wizards of Waverly Place? That old
No?
TV series. Maybe that's an American thing, but everybody else will know what I'm talking about. And Alex Russo, when she makes her bed with her wand, if I could make my bed
Oh,
with
right.
my mind, amazing.
Yeah, no. All you need to say is make your bed up. Make your bed with your mind. I'll be in for that one because
You'll be in that one. Good,
Yeah.
sold.
Okay, number 8. What job other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Well, I mean, I hate to say Miss Volunteer America, but I mean, that would be a really amazing job. And I think, of course, it's like a job of jobs because from what I would want the position to be, you get to be everything. You get to be a role model. You get to be a real model. You get to be a spokesperson. You get to be like a news anchor. You get to be a social media influencer. Come on. It doesn't get much better than that. So, I mean, of course, the Miss Volunteer America position.
You also have a massive unfair advantage because flying around everywhere is not going to be exactly difficult for you.
But imagine, okay, but on like just a serious note, imagine being like a food critic and like traveling the world and like being paid to eat somebody else's food, like a Michelin star food critic. Like that would be pretty cool. That's what the Miss Volunteer America position is missing.
Okay, so pause for a sec because I now remember that you put food critic on your bio. Where's the fanciest restaurant you've ever eaten?
I don't think it's fancy enough. See, this is more of like a future mindset, like one day.
Amanda, what's the fanciest restaurant you've ever eaten?
That's the thing. Oh, well, you know what? This happened recently. We're literally, and Mark and Mike, who's watching this probably, shout out to my directors. They set me up with this wonderful sponsor who's really helped me out. Who's done a huge St. Jude donation for me. They took me out to the fanciest dinner I have ever been to. It's called Chamberlain's here in Dallas. And it is so fancy. It has mood lighting. It has like you step in and they put in the napkin for you. Like they grab your napkin and put it on your lap. It was fancy. It was fancy, y'all. So I think that was definitely the best place I've ever eaten. And actually it just happened last week, and that was the best by like far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to expand your horizons and we're going to throw you.
I need to.
I will say that whole putting in the napkin in my lap, I hate that because I'm like, I'm not a baby. I don't want that. I'll take it out. And then
I feel like a princess.
Putting it back in.
I'm like,
no.
Thank you.
No, don't invade my
No.
So let's back up. So you went to this Chamberlain's place and you had a meal, I'm assuming, right? What meal did you what meal did you have?
I am a pasta girl at heart. I really do love a good pasta. And so I had it's not beef bolognese, it was Wagyu. It was like a Wagyu pasta. And it was so divine. Oh, it was so good.
Okay, well, this is your moment, Amanda, right? Pretend you're auditioning to be the next big food critic. Critique your pasta dish. Go on.
Okay. It looks, the presentation, right? You have to start with presentation. Presentation is beautiful. There was a little sauce on the edge of the dish, but you know what? It added character, right? And then the level of the pasta just added depth, right? There we go. Okay. Next, taste. So taste, 10 out of 10, light, but not too light. There was substance. Now deep, bold flavors that just ended too soon. Portion size, not enough. That portion size, 2 out of 10, gone too soon. That's where I'm docking points.
So what out of 20? What are we talking about out of 20?
Yeah, you're right. Out of like a 18.2 out of 20.
I'm telling you, you can't be a food critic. You're too generous.
I really channeled my Gordon Ramsay. Ugh,
Are you kidding me? That's your best
that was
Gordon
my
Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay.
If there was a splurge of sauce on the side of a dish and Gordon Ramsay,
Back to
you
the
know
kitchen.
full well there'd be 4-letter words coming out of his mouth. I've actually been to a Gordon Ramsay thing in person. He was cooking for us.
No.
Because I'm a huge fan still. Because his story
Wow.
in the kitchen, I really, really like that, and the way he picks up on things that are wrong and he calls it out.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Amanda, you're not Gordon Ramsay.
Got it. Well, dang. Guess I'll have to not be a food critic and settle for being a pilot.
That's not exactly a huge sentence, is it? Anyway, all right, now that you can't be a food critic, number 9, what job other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Oh. Ooh, that's a good one. I think I would attempt anything, like once. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen The Deadliest Catch, that old TV series? So it's a TV series where you live out on a sketchy looking ship trying to catch lobster. Speaking of lobster, and like the waves are everywhere. And I just remember there's this one cutscene. You should look this up. He's freezing and he's like this and he's like, it's so cold. They're like out in the North Pole or something, cage fishing, I guess fishing, I guess is the best word, for lobsters. And it looked like so miserable. And I don't like being cold. And I don't like being on a ship that rocks and waves. And I think I'll say no to that one. I really think I'll pass.
Good to know. So
Yeah.
basically, because you're Texan, you don't want to be cold. That's what
I don't
we're
want to
saying.
be cold. I don't know. No, thank you.
I love how to you guys, anything under 80 or 85 is cold.
Yeah.
And then you
Oh my
people from other
gosh.
parts of the country, and they're like in 3 feet of snow, and it's like 20 degrees, and you guys are
I have
complaining,
been
"Oh,
humbled.
it's only 70 degrees. It's so cold." I'm like, have you seen?
It's so cold. Yeah.
Anyway, final question. We got there. If heaven exists, number 10, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh my gosh. I don't know why this is so emotional to me, but I love just to hear you did good. Good job. Just you did good. Good job. Because I feel like one of my main motivations in service is making sure I'm serving with the right intentions. And that's always through my faith. And that's one of the reasons I love both of our partner charities equally. But the Salvation Army really utilizes that faith role. And I think that's why I've been able to connect with them so deeply. And so it would be my ultimate goal in life if I could get up there and hear the words, good job. You did good.
I like how that made you emotional.
Yeah, it's hopefully.
Let me ask you one final completely random question. I read the Bible from back to front a couple of years ago, and one of the recurring themes is you need to follow the path that God laid out for you, right? Question for you. How do you know when you're on the right path?
When I think you don't really ever know if you're on the right path. I still question sometimes if I'm doing enough or the right thing, but you can know if you're on the wrong path. I feel like that's how I've been able to navigate. I feel like you're on the wrong path when you feel like you're getting distanced, when you feel like you don't have a mission or a purpose, when you feel like it's not leading you to greater good. I feel like by knowing if you're on the wrong path, you kind of just assume that you might be heading down the right one. And so that's at least what I relied on. And being here and even just deciding to do pageantry again, I just had this feeling that something was waiting for me and I wasn't done yet and I could still do good and I still had a role in society. And so I think that for me, what I decide if I'm on the right path with is just knowing it's not the wrong one and just going for it and putting my all into it.
I like that answer because I think it's very difficult to know whether you're on the right path.
Right? Yeah.
It's easier to know sometimes when you're on the wrong path. And
Yeah.
so it's a process of elimination. If we eliminate all the wrong paths,
Yeah,
eventually,
right? That's the only options you have sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, it's been a journey. We got there in the end. We're like 4 months away from nationals. So
Yes. Oh, wow.
around.
For 3 months too long, right?
So thank you so much for coming on, and best of luck. I mean, you're not going to be a food critic, but maybe MVA is in your car. But I'll keep you on the line for just a sec, while I hang up with the audience. Thanks to everyone for watching, and we will
Thanks,
speak soon.
guys.